Hey everybody, Matt here with Darren Donuts, and today I have another gear review for you. It could potentially save your life or your marriage. So let's dive into it. Today we're going to talk about the Garmin Inreach versus the ZOLEO satellite communicators. So like I said, they're satellite communicators, so what it lets you do is text with people that have their particular app or just a smartphone in general. So it's really handy with keeping contact with the outside world, especially if you got a family, wife, kids, things of that nature. You get into the backcountry and leaving them alone for an entire week sometimes is a little unnerving. Now, for my wife, leaving me out in the woods for a week is unnerving to her. So these also come with tracking, and that's really handy. It lets her see, hey, I'm still moving. In the event something goes wrong, she knows where to point first responders, search and rescue, things of that nature. So it's really a peace of mind for her. On top of that, another peace of mind is that these both have built-in SOS features. Just hit a button, activates it, lets search and rescue, first responders, everything like that know that you're in a really tight spot and you need help now. It does accrue quite a cost, I'm not gonna lie to you there, but in the event that you're in the situation you're hitting your SOS, you really can't put a price on your life. So it's a really nice feature and insurance policy to have. And at the end of the day, that's what these are. They're insurance policies. We spend a lot of money on tags, gear, rifles, everything of that nature. And something like this that gives you the insurance policy to stay connected with your family in the event they have an emergency, or give them the ability to get search and rescue to you in the event you have an emergency, really kind of invaluable. But these do have a value and a price tag, and we'll dive into that in a second. Now, I want to acknowledge that there's more out there than just the ZOLEO or the Inreach. There's, I think, the Spot, there's a stick one, but these seem to be the main two, and my money's not unlimited, so these are the two I went with to figure out which one I like better for my setup. Now, I will say there is a clear winner to me, but that's just to me. I think you could like either one based on what your situation is and what you're looking for out of this. And I'll dive into why I think that in a second. Now, as always, we like to start by jumping into the numbers. Now, I'm going to start with this Garmin Inreach. Now, I will say this is the Garmin Inreach Mini. It's their first version. They do have a second version now. I haven't got my hands on it, so everything I'm going to give you, take with a grain of salt. It's about the Inreach Mini 1. I haven't heard a ton of differences about them, looking at forums and stuff like that. But just know that going into this review, that's on the Inreach Mini 1. Now the numbers I'm about to give you are on the Inreach Mini 2 because these ones are getting hard to find. Now the Inreach Mini 2 has a price tag of $399. Again, steep, not necessarily the cheapest thing in your gear kit, but it's a great insurance policy. These do come in this nice orange color and a black color, as you know. We're fans of the orange. If I drop this in the woods, it's going to be a little bit easier for me to find. But if you like the tactical black, go for it. No judgment here. Now, each one of these do come with plans. And that's really where you start to see the separation in which one you're going to like the most. Now, the Garmin Inreach has an activation fee for all of their plans. It's $29.95 from what I could find on their website. They do have monthly and annual plans. Now those annual plans are going to be a little bit cheaper, but the monthly ones are going to let you suspend your service at any time and then pick it back up next hunting season. So if you don't plan on using it all year round, and if my math is correct, if you're planning on using it about 6 to 7 months out of the year, it's probably cheaper to go with the annual. But if you're going to use it less than that, that monthly feature to be able to suspend your service is super handy and super cost effective for you. Now Garmin does have two different sets of plans. There's the consumer plans and there's the pro plans. I'm gonna go over the consumer, that's what most people are gonna look at. They do have a professional bundle though for people that plan on running a couple of different ones of these or need them for a company or something like that. So just know those are out there if that fits your needs. Now for the consumer plans, they range in price. All the way from $14.95, which only comes with 10 text messages and a whole bunch of essentially add-on fees. Think of it like the Spirit Airlines of Garmin plans. All the way up to their unlimited plan, which is $64.95, unlimited text, unlimited tracking, all that stuff. You can set your tracking all the way down to as little as 2 minutes. So again, like I said, you gotta really make a determination on what you're looking for from this. I know I want to stay in contact with my wife and people I'm hunting with. So I'm gonna get I steer towards the recreation or the unlimited plan, get a few more text messages and stuff like that. Plus again, my wife is a worrywart. She likes tracking me. So if I can set it to the 2-minute track versus the 10-minute track, that's 8 less minutes she has to worry that I crawled under a log and died. So that's really helpful for her for whatever reason. Now those prices I gave you are with the monthly plan, not the yearly plan. Again, that monthly plan is gonna be a little bit more expensive. The yearly plan knocks off right in that $3 to $5 a month range, depending on which plan you're looking at. Now we are backcountry hunters, so ounces equal pounds, pounds equal pain. The size and weight of these is gonna be important to a lot of people. So as you can see, pretty small. I think it's roughly 3 inches by 2 inches by 1 inch, if I remember the dimensions correctly. Real small, just clips to the outside of my pack. It only weighs 3.5 ounces. You really don't even notice it's there. I can say, like I said, this is about year 4 running with this, and the durability on it has been really, really good. So the other big question people are gonna ask is, what kind of battery life can I expect from this? And Garmin has a ton of different ranges on their website. It's really hard to narrow down. It depends on how much you're tracking, how many text messages you're sending, all that stuff. But they advertise somewhere in that range of 5 days to 30 days on battery life. I can tell you in my experience, I'm looking a little bit closer to the 5 days than the 30. But again, that's my experience, how I use mine. Yours may be completely different. You may literally use this as an insurance policy, use it very rarely, and get the full 30 days out of it. Now let's dive into the ZOLEO. As you can see, a little bit chunkier, all right? It does weigh 5.3 ounces, a little bit heavier. Nothing major in the grand scheme of backcountry hunting. Again, those ounces equal pounds, pounds equal pain. That's the classic saying. But 1.5 ounces, I don't know that I'm at the point of cutting my handle off my toothbrush to save a couple of pounds. I got a couple of pounds on my body I could probably spare. So I don't know that 1.5 ounces is really gonna be a make or break for me. The big place where this wins is it is only $200, so half the price of that Garmin Inreach. So battery life, again, a big deal for a lot of people. ZOLEO doesn't advertise theirs in days like Garmin does. However, they do advertise that you're gonna get 200 plus hours of battery life. So for those of you who are mathematicians in the group, you know that's just over 8 days of battery life. Pretty darn good. I can tell you, I've been running this for a little while, very happy with the battery life. I haven't ran on any crazy overnight trips or anything. A lot of scouting trips to our deer unit here in Arizona, where there is absolutely no cell phone service. But I can tell you, I can use it for about an entire day, texting with my wife back and forth about various things going on in our life. And it's usually dropping at like maybe 5 to 7%. Really happy with that. Now let's dive into the plans for ZOLEO. ZOLEO only runs monthly plans, so it makes it really easy for you to figure out what you want as far as a total cost. You don't have to do, well, do I want to do monthly? Do I want to do annual? Get out an Excel spreadsheet, break it all down. There's just 3 options to choose from. There's no activation fee that I could find for ZOLEO. I'm not saying it's not out there, and there may be one. I don't really remember if there was when I started this about a year ago, so don't quote me on that. But ZOLEO's plans are $20 for 25 text messages, $35 for 250 text messages, or you can bump up to $50 for their unlimited. Again, tracking is a big thing to me, and none of these plans come with tracking. You can get tracking on all of them. It's a flat $6 for any of the plans, but that is an added expense that you need to think about. Still, $35 for 250 text messages, bump it to 41. You're looking at, that's a pretty sweet spot in a cost range to really have a really good quality satellite communicator. Now, before I jump into the meat and potatoes of this review, if you're liking what you're seeing so far, do me a favor, jump on down, hit that subscribe button, maybe even hit the little bell, get some notifications when we do other cool comparisons like this. We're gonna have a lot of stuff that's gonna really help you refine your gear as a backcountry hunter, or even if you stumbled across this just as a backpacker, we do a ton of stuff that's probably going to be relevant to you. So come hang out with us again. All right, now let's jump into which one I like and which one I don't like. That's not really fair. I like them both. But let's jump into the pros and cons of each one. Now for me, they both do a similar job. Obviously, they're both gonna send your text messages. They're both gonna let you do SOS, check-ins, tracking, things of that nature. But it's really gonna be about what you want out of your setup. A pro for this Garmin over the ZOLEO is that you don't need a smartphone to use it. You can literally just navigate with these buttons on the side, send a text message right off of it. You can check in off of it. You can change your tracking settings. Everything runs right off of this pretty much. The ZOLEO, not so much. You got a little check-in button, if I can get this open, and you got your SOS. That's really it. Other than that, you need your smartphone. So if you're somebody that doesn't like bringing their phone or is battery conscious, then maybe this is the way to go. Another thing I like about the Garmin over the ZOLEO is that it comes with its own mapping. When you download the Garmin EarthMate map, it comes with its own topographical maps. And I can tell you that came in immense handy in Montana. All right, for whatever reason, my download maps weren't working right on my cell phone, and we really had to rely on the Garmin to get us around. And it did a really good job at it, all right? That's something you're not gonna get with ZOLEO. So if you're looking for the GPS, obviously Garmin is a really big name in GPS, and you're gonna get that out of it. This was a lifesaver in Montana for that reason. Now, I just mentioned the apps, and that's gonna be a big factor to me in which one I end up liking more. Garmin has its EarthMate app, and ZOLEO has its own app. ZOLEO's looks a lot like just a normal text messaging app. It's a lot more user-friendly in my opinion. The Garmin EarthMate, I've just not had a lot of good luck with it. You'll send a text message, you'll get the spinning wheel next to it forever, and then you never really know whether it's sent. Finally, a check will pop up like 2 days later, but it's sent 2 days prior. I actually had an issue in Montana where Garmin logged me out and I was completely unable to use the text message feature. That was a really big negative to me that could happen. Now, as I said, you can use this as a standalone device, so it logging out in my smartphone wasn't the end of the world, but with that being said, it's kind of a pain to scroll through every letter trying to type out a text message. You end up using a lot of the preset ones. That is a nice thing about these. Each of these has preset text messages that you can hit check in and send it to your significant others. But again, not the easiest to use, can be done, not ideal. Now here is the next thing where the ZOLEO was head and shoulders above this. The Garmin Inreach Mini really has struggled for me in the past in getting text messages in, getting text messages out, really doing the communication function. I can't speak to the SOS, never had to use it thankfully, never been in a situation to, but really it has not been great at sending and receiving text messages. I'd say probably somewhere in the 60 to 70% range. In Montana, it was absolutely awful. I would guess it's more close to the 20% range. I didn't take this to Montana, so I can't speak to how it would have done there, but in Arizona, this has done significantly better. I've never had any issues. I've never had a text message that didn't send, a text message my wife sent me that I didn't receive. It's just been a lot better on the communication portion. Now, I will say I've played with this a lot less than I've played with the Inreach. To me, the Inreach has pretty good tracking. ZOLEO's not bad either, but I like that Garmin lays it over a topographical map, all this stuff. My wife thinks it's real cool that she can track me through the mountains, everything like that. Sends it to all my hunting buddies' wives, says, oh, look at where the guys are. It's a cool feature for her more so than me, but being able to go back and look at it is helpful because sometimes I won't be able to save a point on Onyx or something like that. And this will help me find my way back to a nice little spot I found while I was out hiking around. So that's my breakdown of which one I like and which one I'm probably gonna get rid of, all right? But that again is my preference in how I use this. If you're somebody that is truly using this as an insurance policy, doesn't plan on texting, maybe wants some, I don't know, GPS mapping out of it, by far, Inreach is the way to go. Not had any problems with the durability, anything like that. The text messaging is my big complaint on this. Now, if you're somebody that wants to stay in constant contact with your family, be able to talk to your wife, your kids, things of that nature, I know a lot of us go out for the peace and quiet, but it's still a nice thing to have. To me, this has been far and away the better option. So I hope that helped you guys make a decision on which one you might want to take out into the backcountry with you. As always, I'm Matt with Deer and Donuts. I hope to see you back again. Again, subscribe button right down there. I heard it's white now, not red, so look around a little bit. Drop me a comment if you use one of these or if you use one of the other ones I mentioned that I haven't reviewed. Let me know how these work out for you and which one you prefer. But until next time, I hope you guys get outdoors. I'll see you later.